Welcome, welcome, welcome to our soulful morning, to our morning about a soul's journey. Let's close our eyes, sit in gratitude with our hands in the receiving mudra, our back straight, and as much as possible, going internally with the help of a wonderful breath, the breath that gives our life purpose, meaning, and substance. Take a deep breath in and feel this wonderful breath living longer in your being by expanding your stomach. And ever so gradually release this breath as a symbol of letting go, only to know that what is good for you will come back with the next few fresh breath. Life is a beautiful journey, giving us so many opportunities to grow, to learn, to evolve, to experiment, to inculcate, to grow beyond boundaries, to grow beyond our fixed mindset. And the breath out is a beautiful symbol of learning to surrender, to letting go of what no longer serves our purpose. There's so many stagnant energies and their traumas that we carry from past lives into this. May we all surrender and let that go and release that. So just keep expanding your world of breath in and breath out with whatever you're guided to do right now at this moment, which is going to be for your highest best. Life is so meaningful, so wonderful, so substantial. Where are we in our life? Let's pause and reflect and understand the power of synchronicity. So open your hands far and wide on your chest level, on your heart level, and keep the palms facing up towards the universe or towards the sky and say, I am open and receptive to all the magical synchronicities and the goodness that is there for me, for my highest growth, and for the highest good of others around me, that's around me. And so it is. Also claim that wherever I turn, prosperity follows me. I am love. I am light. I shine bright, bright here, bright now. And now put your hands back on your laps, again facing heavenwards, because you are in the receiving mudra, having affirmed these 4-5 beautiful manifestations and affirmations. You've manifested them in your body, and the beautiful divine energy of the light beings is now coming in your body, through your hands, and through your other pores of being, because you have opened your body to all the goodness, to all the magics. And feel your body tingling with all the lovely download that is being given to you as a blessing. Feel the movement. Feel the energy pouring into your body from your Sahasrara chakra, from your crown chakra. All this positive energy is going in your brain, rewiring, retuning, reprogramming. All the old, not working software. Control, all, delete, they're all being deleted. And new programming is being set up, new consciousness is being set up that will only take you from here, far and above, up and about. the time of being stagnant, the time of going in a downward journey or a backward journey to and fro again and again is all over. This very moment, you have let it all go. From now on, whatever we have experienced are absolutely priceless treasures, because now we can go into them, tune into them to learn what we needed to learn at our soul level. I'm neither the mind, I'm neither the body. I am the soul, the expansive, eternal soul. And I have chosen this body to further my purpose in my soul's journey. And the first most purpose of mine is to spread the love and light which I am built of. But this human avatar of mine, being a human, has accumulated so much karmic debts, so much fear, so much doubt. But that's not my truth. My truth is receiving joy, happiness, abundance, spiritually, financially, emotionally, personally. So why do you fear, says the soul? And when the soul resides in us, should we fear? We are always looking for validation outside, for some mentor outside. Have you tuned inward to see this mentor living right in us, guiding us, directing us, nudging us, prodding us, mentoring us, helping us move in such a beautiful journey? The soul has chosen on its own level the soul family. Which, as you go deeper, you will understand the meaning of these soul families. How expansive they are, how wonderful they are. Understand the magics. Understand that there is so much being given to us at every point. In fact, which is the reason we say we've been sent and we are made whole and complete. We may be looking around for validation, may be looking around for companionship, but this body, which we think is mine, and we name them as people, as Prachi, Pratima, Jyoti, Ankur, Madhuri, Ritu, Sonia. But are we these bodies? Supriya, are we these bodies? They are just merely bodies that have been given names. And the soul level, the soul has chosen these names for us because these names kind of give our persona an identity, not just in the form of a name, but with the meaning of the name. So let's tune into the meaning of our name to first realize what has our soul chosen this life for us as. We needn't go to an astrologer, a numerologer, a moonologer, any of these scientific people or people who've studied sciences. We just need to go inward, or maybe on Google, or maybe to our parents, that you kept our name. Who kept my name? How did the thought come to keep my name? What is the meaning of my name? The soul chooses a name and makes someone give us that name. That could be anybody: Nani, Kaki, Chachi, Tai, mother, father, brother, sibling. And now that we know the meaning of our life's existence, we can tread on that path being given to us as the first, most primary reason. But obviously, we have taken a human form. So we have to fulfill our humanly duties, whether we are a daughter or a son, a partner, a parent, a sibling, a boss, a worker, a whatever we are. Do the work to its fullest, smartest. The soul says there's nothing like hard work. The soul says whatever we do, if we fill that with love and light, we'll only prosper and turn bright. What we have to do is get out of a comfort zone. For 15, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years, we have lived in this body. And body is the only temple we live in, the only place that we should worship. And treat this body with kindness, with love, with empathy, with compassion. Which means if we overeat and overindulge, we do not have to criticize and ridicule. Just be grateful for that heavy meal. And just help that beautiful heavy meal to digest with your love and light rather than feel guilty about it. Next day, go lighter on your body to allow the digestion power to work its way. If today we've started a new business and we are not being able to get a breakthrough, allow us time. And let's take up projects that we can go to fruition, to completion, with faith, with integrity, with love, with light. There's a reason why we start things in life. Then why do we stop them? Because we start thinking, no, it's not working. But who has given us the title of this judge? Why do we judge? Let the work come to its fruition and then decide, did it help you or was it stagnant? Completion of a task taken in hand is also one of the primary qualities that we should develop in our own life's philosophy. What I start, I must complete. And I always complete because I flow in it with love, light, confidence, trust. And I change the beautiful process. Shirking away responsibilities, not doing what we are meant to do, is not soul's purpose. If we have taken up responsibilities of relationships in our life, it is our duty to do them to the best of our ability. And our ability changes every moment to moment to moment. We have been made samarth, saksham, adequate. Then why do we fear? It is the duty, the right of every woman and man to be doing their kartavya, whatever that kartavya they think it is. To support their family, to nurture, nourish, love their family, to give them the best luxury. If a woman decides that she's going to be just a homemaker, then it is her kartavya to do that to the best of her ability, to give the best of food, the best of house, by even giving the best to herself. Love thyself first. If we do not love ourselves enough and we keep working for the others, then that love is going to be conditional. But if I am full of love and I keep sharing my love, so the universe says, Oh, the more you give, the more you get. So Prachi, you've given love. You get a lot of love. You've shed light, you get a lot of light. But what if I keep keeping that love and that light within me and I don't share it outside? That in itself will become toxic. Why do we open windows in our rooms? The air becomes unfresh, right? You start feeling it's heavy, it's smelly, it's dull, it's stale. And the minute you open a window, oh, it's become fresh. Similarly is a body. Until we let out, we don't get in. Which is why we as humans have been blessed with this beautiful breath, automatically breath in, automatic breath out. But what we forget is that that is complementary and automatic. What we must support with it is keep discharging, discarding old, stagnant energy in us, which is different from our breath work. And this energy is, I fear if I take this risk in my business or in my life, I will fall. Simple example, if somebody's adventurous, skydiving is easy. Jumping off from a plane is easy. Or if somebody's scared, what if I die? What if I have a heart attack? What if I can't take it? What if it's too much for me? But that moment of leap of faith, when the person goes off the plane, is exhilarating, is freeing, is beyond something, because you're like a bird flying high. So why doubt? Why fear? When your soul has your back, when your soul lives in you, not even outside of you. And whatever will happen for this naturally best course. To live a life of mediocrity is not our soul's purpose in any way. Mediumly spiritual, mediumly physical, mediumly emotional, mediumly financial, that is not our soul's fruition. If you are struggling in life, it's because you haven't understood the real lesson of your soul, which is expansive. And we have to be just people in progress. That's it. Keep writing goals. I repeat, goals are dreams with deadlines. Keep evaluating those dreams every single day. That have you done the to-do list? Every weekly check. Have I done this much? And whatever you have done, never say that, oh, I plan to do 10 and I've reached 4. Pat yourself on the back. You've reached 4. Commendable. Brilliant. This is the way to go upward. At least you aren't on -4 that you haven't done things. If there were 10 things to be done and you've done 4, fantastic. Be your own celebration queen and king. Be the person who creates his or her own life, because life has a beautiful meaning to it. Understand that our personality is shaped by our personal reality. And only if we understand the power of reflection, of completion, of celebration, will we tap into this beautiful energy. And what energy is this? That whatever task I've taken on me, I complete it. And when before I complete it, I reflect on it every day. What gets measured gets done. May I understand the soul purpose. So first I make goals, then I make accountability, then I reflect, then I ponder. Reflection and pondering will be similar. Then I complete, and then I celebrate. Every aspect of my life, I have a physical body, I have an emotional body, I have a spiritual body, I have a mental body. What have I done to increase these parts of me? Am I just coming in for the morning sessions to understand my soul's journey, but not implementing what I'm meant to learn? Then the pie is half baked, or the khichdi is half done. It's good for nothing. Neither can you store it in containers anymore, nor can you eat and allow the body to digest because it's kacha. So it's absolutely useless. So when you start something, you have to complete. There's no other alternate. Whether you're happy or whether you're unhappy. But to do that, what are the steps required? Step by step, slowly, gradually, every day being disciplined. And then nobody can shake you off your path because you are at it daily, 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 daily. And that is the power of reflection. And that is what our soul requires at the soul journey level. Let's take this beautiful lesson into our heart. Keep your hands on your heart and say, I trust you, heart, because you are in direct communication with my soul. While I may ignore the gut feeling, the heart feeling, I know it's my truth. And I will try my level best. In fact, I will learn to tune into you. Trying always has a scope of faltering. But now I know I must do it. And having been in the soul journey for over 70 days, I've crossed this cyclic mark of creating, inculcating values. It's a habit of mine. So now it's time to up my game. 7 is a number of spirituality. And now we're in the 70-day series. So here is when I inculcate these beautiful values. And here in this beautiful new moon phase to full moon phase, I'm aware that I am the co-creator of my life with the expansive universe and my soul, which already has chosen me to further its purpose. So I, whoever my name is, I'm not just leading a life for myself, but to further my soul's purpose. And my soul's purpose is love and light. So now everything I do, I'm going to do with love and light. Whatever it is, whether I like, whether I dislike, it's something which has been given to me and I must do it with gratitude, with expansiveness, with radiant bright light. And so it is. Here on, I program myself to always be in love and light. And even if I go off trail, I will be back on track. And that much I'm sure, because now I'm tuned into my heart and my heart will always show me the way. And so it is. Rub your hands together, feel the energy flow in your wonderful palms, warm and nice and lovely and tingling. And spread your hands to bless the world. Love, light, blessings of abundance to every soul beyond time, space, and universe. May our blessings travel far and wide because I'm a conduit of love and light. Keep blessing as long as you feel the tingling. And once done, turn your palms inward and bless your entire body by giving it a brush. This brush from front to back, up to down, down to up, is releasing all the stagnant energy in your body and replacing them with good, positive, blessing energy. Very important ritual to be done every single day. And with this, we come to a beautiful beginning of yet another powerful day where we're going to be reading the healing stories of this magical book, Miracles Happen by Dr. Brian Weiss. We should be taking a couple of days, couple of more days, maybe a week to finish this book because we're reading 10 to 15 pages a day, depending upon our meditation duration. Today, the meditation was long. So let's see where we are, right? And as we said, there's no timeline attached to it. So we'll just flow. Proof of presence. I asked my friend Hilary to share her lovely story. As she tells it, I was married to a wonderful man named Robert who passed away. Several years after his death, I visited my friend Mara, who had met Robert once 12 years earlier. Mara and I lived in different parts of the country, so we did not have the chance to meet or visit each other often. Mara had offered to give me a reading. She had attended some of your seminars in Florida, and she has had many accurate experiences reading people. I gave her Robert's wedding band. She put it on her hand, and we sat across from each other. Mara had her back to the window, and I had my back towards the apartment. Her Maltese dog, Ozzy, slept next to us on the floor. We both sat very quietly, waiting for Mara to get messages. She told me the information that she received, and I said, "But how do I really know what that Robert is with us?" Suddenly, we heard a loud bang. I turned around, and on the tile floor behind me was a small wood framed photo of Robert. Wow. Next to it was Ozzy, who only was twice the size of the framed photo. What was so amazing about this is that the photo of Robert had been in the bedroom tucked behind some bags and a large suitcase. What made Ozzy awaken, get up from the floor, go into the bedroom, and bring the photo to the living room? This is something that he had never done before or since. I went to take a look in the bedroom, and neither the bags nor the suitcase was moved. The floors are tiled, so we would have heard if Ozzy had dragged the wooden frame across it. Instead, he had just put the frame in his mouth, carried 15 feet, and then dropped it on the floor behind me. How he did this, I'm not sure. But Mara and I strongly felt that Robert was with us, helping Ozzy to carry the photo into the living room and drop it with a loud bang. This was Robert's way of answering my question, says Mara Gober. The instinctual mind of animals is not obstructed by the logical thinking, analytical functions that the human brain and mind possess. This frees them to be more attuned to communication of diverse frequencies, vibrations, and sources. Perhaps Robert found it easier to connect directly with Ozzy, who then performed a rather complex task of locating the unique photo, bringing it from deep within the other room, and dropping it right behind Levy. What are the odds of that? Walter Jacobson, a psychiatrist, wrote on this blog about his experience while attending my week-long training at Omega. During one of the group regressions, Walter saw in his mind the image of two cupped hands. But as a self-professed left-brained and analytical person, he found himself unable to recall a past life, if any other images during the first few days of the workshop. On the fourth day, I brought Walter on stage to demonstrate how to perform a regression or someone who was having difficulty remembering his past lives. The cupped hands that Walter had previously visualized were my entry point into his past life. When people have hands, they usually have feet, and so I guided Walter to look down at his. He could see them now, clad in men's leather sandals, and he could also see that he was next to a river. What was the significance of the cupped hands? At first, I thought that he must have been interacting with another person, but as we delved further into the scene, we realized that his dying dog was lying on the ground beside him. Walter had been gathering the water from the river and holding it up to his beloved dog's face, for the dog was too weak to drink on his own. The gesture was an incredibly compassionate one, and the entire audience of workshop participants was visibly moved by the profound love between man and dog. Not long after the dog died, and Walter, now left completely alone, was filled with sadness. I asked Walter what he learned from that lifetime, and his answer was simple and heartfelt: love. More understandings about this lifetime came to Walter after the regression, as he wrote. The lesson from a past life regression was not simply about love, but about devotion as well. Devotion is a very important part of the lesson I'm here to learn. When I care for my dog, I need to do it with devotion to her needs being met more than mine. When I care for our horses, the same needs to be true. Then I'm fully present, fully dedicated, fully communicative, and fully nurturing. And last but not the least, I need to be devoted in my service to others in the expression of my compassion, acceptance, and forgiveness of everyone whose path I cross, and in my bonding with my significant others. Isn't that such a remarkable paragraph? Please highlight if you have the hard copy. Upon browsing the Omega bookstore that week and entering its back room, Walter looked down and saw a statue, an exact replica of the two cupped hands that he had envisioned. The sculpture was entitled The Hands of God. Recently, I was reading this local newspaper and becoming dismayed by the relentless chronicling of hatred and violence occurring all over the world. People were being brutally attacked and left for dead in the streets. A teenager was shot and killed in a hate crime merely because of the color of his skin. Literally, right underneath this article was a piece about two cats, and I silently blessed the newspaper for including this wonderful story of love and devotion. An elderly Floridian woman had become enamored with and adopted two kittens from the same litter, a brother and sister whom she named Jack and Jill. The woman eventually moved to Maine, but Jack ran away just before she left, and she was forced to leave without one of her treasured pets. A neighbor happened to find the lost cat and called the woman in Maine, only to learn that she had died and that a relative had given Jill to a local animal shelter 2 months prior. The neighbor grew troubled that Jill was all alone, and she scoured the shelters in Maine to find her. After prayers and painstaking search of hundreds and hundreds of cats, Jill was located. However, the neighbor could not afford the $500 needed to transport the cat back to Florida. As she told the story to her co-workers at the country club, they banded together along with others who had heard the story to collect the money on her behalf. Within only 2 days, they had reached their goal, and not long after, Jill was back home, finally and happily reunited with her brother Jack. Reading this, I was reminded of Walter's memory of lovingly cupping his hands to quench the thirst of his dying dog. We humans are capable of expressing great compassion and devotion to our beloved pets. To expend so much energy and money to reunite two cats is such a noble and tender act. Furthermore, so many had to come together to achieve this goal, not only the determined neighbor, but also the patrons, members, and staff of the country club who had pitched in to cover the cost. If only we could treat other people with the same careful compassion that we extend to our pets, then our newspapers would not be filled with accounts of atrocities. The papers would instead feature stories of charity, kindness, hope. Humans are important too. People are so wonderfully devoted to their pets. In fact, that they often ask me if we reincarnate as animals and if we have inhabited those kind of bodies before our own human ones. I do believe that it is possible that we have had lifetimes in animal form. It could be that we simply do not remember these lifetimes. During regressions, human memories are more easily accessible and they are most likely the ones in which traumas and symptoms have their origins. In my own work with patients, I found that once you become a human, you tend to stay a human. I personally yet to encounter any people who were sent back to the animal kingdom as a form of punishment for being too violent or too hurtful in their human lives. Rather, there seems to be a progression to the human level, and it is the level where, time being, our lessons are to be learned. Again, understand this point very, 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 very well. As a human life, we are only supposed to progress, not regress. We do not get undermined and by putting us back into a plant kingdom or a rock kingdom or a animal kingdom. No, we don't. Because the consciousness has been elevated, so it's only going to go further. But as a human, which pravati, which nature are we adapting, adopting, and improving? That's our question. That's our lifeline. That's our lesson. That's our learning. We can change our species and kingdoms if we choose to, for that may offer us a new avenue for learning. We can explore animal consciousness, plant consciousness, or even the consciousness of the clouds, as other stories in this book demonstrate. How could we ever put any limits on our awareness on our soul? Because our soul is expansive, like how? It's limitless. Putting a limit to it is like not possible. And the next healing story is named Guider. Omega is a truly special place, one where amazing and wonderful things of a synchronistic nature regularly transpire. People meet people they are meant to meet and get messages and answers they dearly need. Miraculous happy stances are virtually commonplace there. When they occur, the feeling one gets is wow, of course. This is what was needed, wanted, hoped for, and meant to be. I went there for 4 consecutive years to learn from Brian and Carol, to regress as many people as I could, and to open myself and embrace whatever miraculous synchronicities could come my way. Now, in August 2006, before going to Omega, I recently returned from visiting my brother in Texas. While there, I took advantage of the opportunity to see my friend, Dr. Jerry Casebolt. Jerry is a great healer, a shaman who also happens to be a licensed, experienced chiropractor. People who get to see Jerry must be prepared for something different, something special in the way of treatment. Chiropractic body work, breath work, deep tissue, shiatsu massage, some rolfing techniques, guided imagery, hypnosis, and deeply moving and relevant storytelling that mixes archetypes, metaphor, symbolism, and allegory. These are all of the tools of Jerry's work, and he uses them brilliantly and seamlessly. When I too went to see Jerry this summer, I recently snapped my left Achilles tendon, having fallen off a ladder. Suffice to say, I was experiencing significantly less range of motion and immense pain. While working on my leg and back, which was excruciating, Jerry began to talk to me as he always did. First, he took me through a full body relaxation and healing meditation, in which I visualized a white healing light entering the top of my head, passing through my entire body and leaving through my feet. He then asked me to visualize an animal coming to visit me to give me a message of healing. Immediately, I saw an immense owl, a great horned owl, and I told him so. Good, that is your power animal, and he's here to help you heal. Jerry said, "What's his name?" "His name is Guider," I replied. What followed as Jerry continued to work on me, often burying his thumb or elbow into my body to work out a knot somewhere, was a beautiful visualization of Guider showing me the way to create awareness, insight, health, and wholeness. It was so beautiful, so real, so powerful. I cried. A few weeks later, I found myself at Omega Institute for the first time, and I was so excited to experience mediumship through psychometry and to conduct my first regression that I remained on campus after class, talking with classmates and doing more regressions until 9:30 that evening. It was very dark. I was exhausted and exhilarated as I walked towards a parking lot to begin the 20-minute drive back to my hotel in town. I was full of excitement from the day's event, literally spiritually high, and I loved it. In the field in front of the dining hall, I observed a beautiful ceremony. A large group of people, women, approximately 150 of them, were standing there on the grass in a huge circle, each holding a candle. I stopped and listened from under a nearby tree. They were singing a song in unison, and as each refrain ended, two new women from the circle would step in, move in opposite directions, and stop to hug each other and each and every woman. These are the words they so beautifully chanted. Dear sister, I must let you know, you have loved me all the years, and I love you so. That was it, such a simple, beautiful sentiment. I found the way to my vehicle in the parking lot, and I realized that I was singing the song as I walked. Merely doing so made me feel closer to my sisters and brothers. It was a powerful refrain. I began driving out through the heavily wooded areas around Omega as I left the campus. I passed the large circle of women, still continuing that lovely ceremony. I slowed down to observe them one more time and then drove to the deep woods. It was a sweet summer night, and I had the window down. I was alone in the dark road, and around it a tight bend there at the edge of the road. Approximately 15 feet away, looking directly at me, stood the largest, most beautiful owl I'd ever seen. Guider, I whispered, in awe of the bird's size and beauty. He watched me in the headlights for about 10 seconds, and then he opened his massive wings and, with one big swooping whoosh of them, lifted himself to a branch on the very edge of the road. Landing on the end of the branch in a big maple tree, he turned his head, and those large yellow orange eyes looked right at me. "There you are, Guider," I said. As I crept forward slowly in my vehicle, I stopped only a few feet away from his tree, and we stared at each other eye to eye for seconds. Guider then simply fell off from the tree branch, opened those massive 6-foot wings of his, and glided to yet another tree branch on the edge of the other side of the road. Settling there, he turned his big head and fixed those beautiful luminous eyes on me again. This time, when I slowly crept forward to this great owl, he sat and quietly regarded me for a full minute. Now, I got goosebumps as I knew instinctively that this was Guider. He'd come to see me and to show me the way, to give me a message. To impart some sacred wisdom, Guider would continue to fall and swoop to successive tree branches, all on opposite edges of the road, a total of 6 times, and I would continue to idle forward to where he was as we stared into each other's eyes over and over. The experience was mystical, surreal, and profoundly touching. A car's lights began to loom out of darkness behind me then, and then I knew I had to drive, as sitting still in the road was no longer a good idea. As if he understood, Guider fell from the tree one last time, swooped closer to my vehicle, as if to say goodbye, and glided off into the dark forest. What a truly magical experience. Though there may seem to be, there are no accidents at Omega. The person gets what they were supposed to get. That day I'd performed my very last regression, something I'd yearned to learn. The person I regressed had remembered a life long ago as a Native American. This had held great personal meaning for her. Native Americans have long known the importance of visitation from a power animal. And the same night, I was gifted a wonderful visitation from mine. Guide seemed to be saying, "Welcome. You have found your path. Now follow it," helping others along the way to where you will find your true self. As Brian would say often that week, there are no accidents, we are all connected. There's a story by Michael Brown. And as Carol would say, sometimes miracles happen. If our hearts and minds are open and loving, we will find our right path and our true self. There will still be many signs illuminating and confirming the way. I too have seen this group of women in this field. Sometimes they're all wearing white robes or dresses with the white sandals, with the white candles surrounding them. This is a marvelous sight in the dark of night. Their song is melodic, addictive. I hear the words, "You have loved me all these years," and the millions of years connecting all our existence and incarnations come to my mind. How many thousands of sisters we have had over these lifetimes. As Michael began singing the simple words of that sweet song, his heart opened even more. He felt a connection with all the sisters and brothers, the entire human family. In that mystical and pure state, he was ready to meet Guider and to perceive and to receive the confirmation he needed about the chosen path. There's a goddess in Celtic mythology who often took the form of a large, wise owl. Her all-seeing eyes allowed her to peer into the infinite depths of the human subconscious, of the soul. Her giant outspread wings bestowed healing and compassion upon anyone who sought her guidance as she flew powerfully through the night. She lived and ruled over that heavenly place where souls awaited rebirth and where poets were said to be learning the wisdom of the stars. It was she who decided whether a soul should be given a new body or sent on a higher spiritual realm. A symbol of feminine power, she is a deity of karma, of past life memories, of reincarnation. Perhaps Michael sensed his archetype presence in that candlelit field of women as he sang of the ancient bonds of sisterhood. Perhaps he sensed it in Guider, the immense owl who graced his path again and again, or in the stars above on that sweet summer night, where resting souls eagerly anticipated new life. There are no accidents. Michael said, and he's right, there are no coincidences either. There's only the universe spreading its loving angelic wings of comfort around our shoulders, guiding each of us on our way. Wow. Wow. Okay. We move on to the chapter number 11, short and sweet. The work of regression therapy, with its ever present themes of illness, loss, grief, death, can often feel quite heavy. Humor provides a balance. Life lessons are not restricted to difficult experiences, they're also found in the lighter moments. Some may even seem so frivolous that we do not give them the attention that they deserve. But they too have much to teach us, and they can be therapeutic in their own right. One summer, I was teaching a training course at the Omega Institute. The past and the present lives that we were exploring happened to be particularly stressful. And as a result, the week proved to be even more emotional than usual. In the final moments of the last day, as the workshop was coming to a close, a young woman approached me with a very serious look on her face. I stopped to spend a moment with her, sure that she was about to ask me something profound. In a quiet voice, she asked me the question that had been on her mind. Do you know who you look like? Her question surprised me, but I answered that I did not. Without a hint of laugh, she replied, E.T. You mean the extraterrestrial? I thought I had misheard her. Yes, E.T. I was convinced that I had not understood her correctly. You mean the little guy who rode the bike across the moon? I asked, pantomiming, pedaling a bicycle. That's right. Thinking back on it now, I wish I would have asked her for more details. What about me exactly resembled A.T.? In what way did I look like that small alien? But at that time, I was too perplexed or to even respond. I just walked away. Perhaps a little encounter had transpired in order to provide me with a lesson in humility and ego. Perhaps there was some deeper significance in her metaphor that had yet not been revealed itself to me. And perhaps I just needed a good laugh after a very long week. Whether humorous or serious, this chapter illustrates how apparently simple events can contain the seeds of deep truths and wisdom. These stories may be small, but their effects and implications are nothing short of powerful. The first story in the section is by Margie Samuels, which is named Apples of One's Eye. I recently attended your workshop in South Florida. At the very beginning of the event, you were mentioning that you'd signed books at the end and only one per person for time's sake, and that love, instead of personalizing each inscription, you would sign Love Brian Wise. I was sitting in the audience of about 900 people and thinking that during the next break, I needed to phone my son to remind him to pick up our friend's dog from the kennel so that she wouldn't have to stay the following day. I was completely immersed in that thought. Then I came back to what you were saying, which was, for example, if you were to ask me to sign it for Apollonia, a friend's dog's name is Apollonia, apples for short. I just loved it. So now do you believe nothing is by coincidence, right? There are no coincidences or completely random events. Everything has a purpose, a reason, even if we are not aware of it at any time. The name Apollonia popped into my mind and became my example. I guess apples really wanted to leave the kennel. Something or someone impressed that name on my consciousness, and it came through me clearly. As a result, Apollonia has more than a personalized inscription in a book. She has an entire story. From apples, we move to celery. Celery clairvoyance. I attended your wonderful workshop in LA a few years ago. When we did the energy exercise in the afternoon, I partnered with Lisa, a woman sitting in front of me. I exchanged my wedding ring for her watch. Even before you started counting, I had a vision of a dolphin halfway out of water, which was very playful and cute. I tried to ignore the vision as I felt it became too suddenly to be valid, but the dolphin wouldn't go away. When hearing about it, Lisa had a big smile. This is my favorite animal, she exclaimed. I was pleased and relieved that I had done a good job. I waited to hear what she had seen about me. She looked confused and almost apologetically said, even before we started, right in the face, I saw a big, green, juicy bunch of celery. She stretched her hands far apart and said, I mean, really big. This sounded pretty funny, but I felt somewhat disappointed. I hated celery and couldn't think of any deep or noble meaning behind it. I got home around 7 that evening and was treated to a big cold glass of juice. My husband recently had become a juice fanatic, creating his own recipes with fruits and vegetables. As I telling him the story with Lisa, as I mentioned the celery, my husband ran to the refrigerator like a madman and came back with the most plump and juicy bunch of celery that I'd ever seen. That very afternoon, at the same time that I had been doing the psychometric exercise with Lisa, he had been getting his juice ingredients at the market. He couldn't resist buying the celery bunch, being so impressed by its unusual appearance and size. We have been married for 22 years, and the wedding band that I had handed it to Lisa has his name engraved on it. I will never look at celery the same way again, says Sophia. So funny it may be, but beautiful it is. This is how psychometry works. You pick up the vibrations, the frequencies, you emit them out just the way you receive them. The proof of our incredible psychic and mystical nature does not always have to be grand and cosmic. A magnificent meteor shower or solar eclipse has the same importance as a bunch of celery. We just need to know that we are gifted spiritual beings with intuitive abilities far beyond our everyday comprehension. Whether we learn this from heavenly visions or earthly vegetables does not matter. In the world of psychic phenomena, just like in the realm of subatomic physics, the usual limitations of space and time are transcended. We are capable of knowing events that are happening simultaneously, even if they are geographically distant. Sophia's husband was eyeing the celery stalks around the same time that Lisa saw them right in front of her face at a workshop miles away. Sophia's story also emphasizes truism that sometimes we do not recognize the importance of an event at the same time that's happening. Eventually, its significance will come to light. Sophia was disappointed by Lisa's vision of the celery until that evening, when her husband recognized the connection to the purchase he had made hours prior. Dave was likewise disappointed with his psychic perceptions until his psychometry partner revealed how perfectly accurate they were. His story follows. Hunting for Mushrooms by Dave. I was one of the audience members in your Tampa workshop where a curious small thing occurred while we did the exchange of articles. My wife and I switched our belongings with people we did not know, and my partner was a Chinese woman. She gave me a bracelet in the exercise. I kept thinking about mushrooms. How silly, I thought. She had envisioned a perfect scene from a family farm we owned in Pennsylvania, and all I could come up with was mushrooms. It turned out that she was an avid mushroom hunter. Her father in law, who sat next to her, had given her a mushroom kit, and she was feeling very annoyed with herself that she had not yet utilized it. Be it celery or mushrooms. The important part is the exchange of knowledge, memories, experiences through the flow of energy. Once we let down the veil of our conscious minds, we allow this flow to occur. We become aware that we're connected and we know so much about each other. It is difficult to be prejudiced or violent when you can see so much clearly and see the energetic bonds that unite us well. In his book, The Hidden Messages in Water, Dr. Masaru Emoto demonstrated how words too can transmit the energy flow and consequently influence the molecular structure of water. Marilyn and her mother also witnessed firsthand the transformative power of words and books. The story next shows what happens when we read our spiritual eyes. So you remember, all of you who've been with me in the Life Transformation series or other series, we have very categorically shown us slides of Dr. Masaru Emoto's experiments, that waters, when they treat it to some kind of emotion, how they crystallize. It's absolutely gorgeous and fascinating. So, what we are doing right now in the mornings, the soulful studies, we're changing the elemental nature of our body slowly and gradually and crystallizing them into a spiritual world because we're connected to our soul on everyday morning level, spending 1 good hour finding something, whether we are believers or whether we are not. Now, I don't think anybody would say, I'm not a believer anymore. You may have joined this thinking, अरे क्या Dr. Brian Weiss का 90 से 100 दिन तक पढ़ना पड़ेगा book, and roads is repetition, कुछ नया ही नहीं. But then it depends on us. नया हर word में है, हर line में है, हर पैराग्राफ में है, हर स्टोरी में है, हर पेज पे है. The soul in me, the finder in me, the skeptic in me, am I relating to it? Am I learning from it? I, for one, want to be really grateful to each one of you, because had you not been here, my motivation to do these classes would not have been there. So because of you, I'm accountable. And because of you, I'm once again learning and loving and reading these books thanks to you. And I feel like I'm reading them for the first time. That's the magic of it all. लगता ही नहीं कि पहले books पढ़ी हुई हैं. Just few of the stories I remember, and I realized, what kind of readers are we? Because we don't really integrate the learning by reflecting on it. The people who reflect on it, who make notes, who take some takeaways that, okay, today what is my learning? Remember, we had 3 journals, actually 5. One is dream journaling, one is reflections, and one is gratitude journaling. Now, how many of us have forgotten to use a reflection journal? How many of us take 20 minutes after the session to reflect on what learning have I learned today? Or any powerful line that I've picked up today? How many of us sit with a paper and a paper and a pen, rather than just sitting in the bed and lazing and then doing the session? Of course, there's no need for us to have the cameras on. It's a soulful journey. Ritu, you are brilliant. To say she writes every day. Now, people like Ritu will definitely go more than you and me, because maybe we don't reflect enough. Maybe it's a reminder for us. Today we talked about the power of reflection, right? We talked about the power of goal making, reflection, and we talked about completion, and we talked about celebration. This is something I picked up last night from Jeff Olson's book. In fact, I think day before. Such a remarkable message. So the books and each page and each paragraph has some takeaways. उस समय समझ में आए नहीं आए, but बाद में जरूर resonate होगा. Just the way उस समय नहीं समझ में आया इसको about, we just read the story. They could understand at that time, but the minute they went home, she's like, oh, celery. She was disappointed, but then she realized, right? Another short story we'll read. Marilyn Calabrese says, her story's name is Reading Between the Lines. Near the end of her life, my mother could no longer read regular-sized print books, only those in large print. At that time, I had a copy of your book, Many Lives, Many Masters, in regular-sized print. One day we were sitting together on the sofa, and I was finishing reading your book, one of my favorites. She took it from me and started to turn the pages. She had never done anything like this before, because I knew that the print was too small for her to see. I asked if she would like me to read it to her. No, she replied, I can read it myself. I knew that she couldn't, but I sat there and watched her go slowly through her book, looking at each page carefully. Finally, she reached the end and returned it to me. She had a beautiful look of peace on her face. I knew that she had read your book simply by turning the pages, and I had the distinct feeling that she knew that I knew. It was a moment of wonderful connection between my mother and me. There is an energy in books, one that often transcends the print. Sometimes when I autograph one of my books, I have the conscious thought of pulling my energy into it along with my name. Marilyn's energy was in her book, and perhaps her mother could feel that as well. Whatever the mechanism, a beautiful connection ensued. And this is why I keep saying those journals are sacred. They have been touched by the moonlight and the starlight, and they're full of love and light. It's very easy to go buy beautiful 2-3 diaries in the market. It's great if you can energize them yourself, nothing like it. But I do not know why I'm pulled so much towards the trilogy, the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh more. I have also designed a graphic version, geometric version. But for me, the power is in the Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, because it's not just that they're Bhagwanjis, it's because I think they bring with them some divine energy of creating, of destroying, of preserving. And with them, my higher self, Lotus, speaks to everybody. And I think I'm just a conduit, but a part of me is in the journals with Kamal being there. So I am because of Kamal is. He's chosen me to radiate his love and light in the form of Prachi, right? So that's why I think those journals are very important. And those of you who have tucked them away somewhere, it's time to take them out, because now in the last 1 month of our learning, we've crossed the two-third mark. It's time that we elevate ourselves. In those beautiful journals, you'll find the sun, you'll find the moon, you'll find the stars, you'll find a Ganpati, you'll find a Buddha, you'll find Mother Earth, Ma Gaia, you'll find Sai. These are all there because of us. And in those journals, you will find on the left-hand side, those beautiful intrinsic patterns and the depiction of our brain, the subconscious brain, which are beautifully created through eons and eons of our lives, right? So again, I'm going to read whatever the mechanism, a beautiful connection ensued, and writes about another moment of connection between a child and a parent, this time with my son Jordan and his own son. So while we do have many more stories coming up, today we will conclude this one, and tomorrow we will start with this beautiful story, namely Heroes, which is written by Amy Wise, right? And let's have like a minutes of pondering, of meditation. So as you all know, Nitya Shanti is one of my beautiful teachers, spiritual teachers, and he's taught all of us the lotus of gratitude. And that if is a very powerful thing to start in the morning. So once again, let's just put our hands together as two small buds of lotuses and keep opening one and counting our blessings the last 24 hours or this morning. And if you wish to give it a twist, you can you can recount the learnings of today's session. That will make the session more powerful. And if you want, I'm happy to run that through you, but it'll be nice if you reflect on it. But today, because we're starting this new, process, so I'm happy to take you through it. And then tomorrow onwards, we can all be centered and we can reflect on our own. So as I open my first petal of lotus, I take a deep breath in and thank my breath for this wonderful life that it's given to me. Without this breath, I would be nishpran, without life, lifeless. So thank you, dear breath. As I open my second petal, I thank my body for being up and about, for being present to the reading, to the learning, to the reflection, and not just being in a sleep mode. As I open my third finger, I'm thankful for the wonderful story that we all studied about presence, that how Robert's picture came out of nowhere with a beautiful dog. And the dog just brought in the story, the dog, Ozzy just brought in the frame just when they were asked that, how do I know that Robert is there? Which means that all our loved ones, no matter even they've crossed this realm, there's a thin veil between them and us. And when we ask for the presence, we receive it. If you're a believer, we are a receiver. We also talked about this beautiful fact that in the next story, we talked about these two pair of hands. How these two pair of hands were there as guider, as the owl for this beautiful gentleman who had just witnessed a very changing life of his. He was guided by expansiveness. And we talked about miraculous happy stances. There's nothing called a coincidence. They're all full of magics and miracles, and they are happy circumstances called happy stances. And we were wowed by the fact that, he was given so much of direction by that beautiful owl 6 times, and then he was told, okay, move on. When you can start sharing your light, you're going to be completely powerful and you will be going towards in your own true self. Because now you're on the right path. Just completely follow it, help people, and you will find your true self. Again, Dr. Brian Weiss says, there are no accidents, we are all connected. We also learned in our session today that whatever we began with the meditation, we also learned, the fifth petal opens, we also learned that at a soul level, we are expansive. So to dream and then to put a deadline makes it a goal. When we have a goal, we have to do a to-do list. When we have a to-do list, we have to reflect, ponder every day, create goals and check them weekly, complete them and celebrate them, because that gives our life more a sense. And we also realize that we are all whole and complete. And when we follow our own wisdom, our own heart talking to us, our own intuition guiding us, we are always on the right path. Then we also learned when we open 6 number petal of our left hand or the right hand, that how little beautiful cosmic coincidences keep coming in our life. But how little comic, little laughter lightens up the spirit of us. We talked about how telepathically things can be emoted. Somebody was talking to her staff, her loved one back, and she was talking about her wonderful dog. And then that same name, Apple, came up in Dr. Brian Weiss's example. We pick up energy, we pick up frequency. All of us here are here in tune, picking up something from it. As seventh petal opens, we also learned about a lesson that we all here as a one big white family. And we need to believe. So when Sophia did not believe about the celery, she came back home to know that, oh Lord, this was something to be believed. Because there is psychic stuff available, which is mystical in nature, but the mystery always unfolds because the mystery is grand and cosmic and at times comic. That was today's learning, right? We all also tapped into the eighth petal, opens up to knowing that all we just need to know is that we are all gifted spiritual beings with intuitive abilities far and beyond of our everyday comprehension. Whether we learn this from our heavenly visions or downloads or on the earthly plane, it does not matter. As long as we are in the world of psychic phenomena, in that realm of subatomic physics, whatever the limitation we have of time and space, we move far and beyond that. Because each one of us is capable of knowing so much more than we think we know. As a ninth petal opens up, we also learned that life is absolutely beautiful. But there is something called understanding intuitively. When that lady read between the lines, who could not read a small print, but she flipped the pages because she knew why. Because every book has its energy, every book has consciousness. And when we just don't read the book, we understand the book, we implement the book, we reflect on the book. Our 10th petal for the morning opens up because a beautiful connection is formed. And this beautiful connection is so wonderful that it takes us many, many places. And with this beautiful connection, this beautiful gratitude that we all have, let's fold our hands that whatever gratitude we have done till now, in this morning with our session, may it become more expansive and reach far and wide. And now bless your heart. And may these lessons be intertwined, implemented, understood, resonated with me, deep within me, enter my subconscious, and may I reflect on them, ponder on them, and help them to make the beautiful goals that I'm guided towards. Thank you, thank you, thank you, everybody, for tuning in this sacred morning. I'm very, very grateful to all of you, especially for tuning in these morning sessions, because it gives me a lot of power and love and light. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today is a fabulous Friday. Have the most of it, make the most of it. And yes, Ritu wants to share something. Yes, Ritu, please say. I always wait for reflections, but everybody is in such a soulful mood, nobody speaks. I'm so glad that you're speaking. Please say.
Hi, good morning, Prachi.
Morning, you look lovely.
Good morning, everybody. I'm not been attending the classes because of Diwali and so many parties, but I've been going through the recordings of Prachi every day, and I'm in the chapter 7 right now. But till now, so many things have changed in my life through this past life regression and the meditation what Prachi goes through. Uh, I have uh, I have a lot of anxieties for different things like. जब दोपहर शाम होती है जब सूरज ढलता है उस टाइम पे I have a very bad anxiety. I want all the lights to be on and everything. That anxiety is gone through tapping in one of in my past life regression where I was tapped in the beach with when I was kissing someone. I don't know who I was kissing, and he only stabbed me while kissing. And that time I was looking at the sun, and that time that anxiety was there from somewhere, and it got released. Now I love sunsets. Like
Wow.
I sit outside, and now I'm not scared of that time. That thing happened, and then my insomnia has really changed. Now I have a peaceful sleep. That's why I'm not able to get up in the.
Wow.
I know I'm missing Prachi's classes, but I love my sleep more because I never had natural sleep.
And I respect you for this. I really respect you for this. It's imperative to trust your body. It's imperative for self-love. So thank you for the self-love.
So there are few more I will share later, but I'm in a happy place right now. In chapter 7, I'm in a happy place right now. I don't know by the end of the book where I will be.
So seven is the number of spirituality. And believe me, Ritu, you look lighter by the tons. Not just in your weight in your body, lighter in your complexion, lighter in your feelings, in your emotion. So I think your entire bodies, whether it's etheric, it's emotional, it's physical, it's mental, it's spiritual, your light is being radiated out. So thank you for sharing your light this morning.
I never believed in this thing, but this truly is magical. I'm just hooked to it now.
I'm so proud of you. Very
Thank you,
grateful.
Prakash, for bringing to me this in this path, I will say.
As I say, I'm always a conduit, and I'm very grateful to the divine for helping me becoming a conduit because souls like you come in every morning. So it helps me as well. So thank you, everybody, not just you, Ritu. A big thanks for everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you for this morning reflection. Lots of love and light to everybody. It's made my morning so much more meaningful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Lots of love and light.